There's so much to know, so many people to meet, so much adventure awaits. What are you waiting for? Hey y'all, I'm Jamie Doris, MS Congeniality. Join me each week as we make connections, face fears, and share love, all while being totally fabulous. There's no topic off limits, no story too bold. Together, we'll try it all. Prepare to be surprised with me, Jamie Doris. I am MS Congeniality. Hey y'all, and welcome to MS Congeniality. I'm your host, Jamie Doris, and today, guess what we're doing? Another gardening episode, but this time we are filling this bed with herbs. A few months ago, Master Gardener Karen Ball from Fazzios Home and Farm Center in Gulfport, Mississippi, helped us get started with a home garden. Since then, the garden has flourished and it's had a few issues too. So today we're going to be checking back on that project. Also on today's show, we're getting our garden compost up and running finally. It's an easy thing that you can do too at your home to reuse food scraps and clippings from around your yard. It's my goal to have an edible yard full of yummy fruits and vegetables and herbs, and it's all part of my Queen of Green initiative. You know, for me, I view it this way. We only have one earth, and it's our job to take care of it. But first, a word from our sponsors.
I love the Gulf, you love the Gulf, we all love the Gulf. Let's keep her clean. 2020 is the year to embrace the Gulf. You can do your part by remembering to pick up your trash, use less plastic, and eat Gulf of Mexico sourced seafood. Don't forget to enjoy the water too. It's the little things we do that make the biggest difference. Find out more at embracethegulf.org.
Hey y'all, and welcome back. It is our second fun gardening episode. This time we are making an herb garden. And join with me again is Karen Ball from Fazzios Home and Farm Center in Gulfport, Mississippi. We're making an herb garden today.
Yay.
Yay. You guys, last time she was here, if you didn't see the episode, she helped create a beautiful garden here in my yard. Mm-hmm. And now you're back?
I'm back.
Okay. So tell me, what are we doing to get started?
Well, we'll have to start filling up the bed, and I think we discovered last time where we were trying to do it on a tarp that it was way too messy, and it was better just to take the containers of soil, we're layering it actually, and put it in there and break it up. There'll be two things that we will not be using this time, which is peat moss, because the herbs need to be drier, and I think there was an additional soil that, you know, it's just a little too much. So we'll have a soil conditioner, Happy Frog, and we'll also have Ocean Forest, Feast of Fish.
I'm going to tell you what, for the garden that we did 2 months ago, I think the soil was the key. I mean, that garden has just taken off. So if we do something similar this time, I'm going to have herb tea and herbs for all of my dishes, like very, very soon.
Very soon.
Yes, I'm excited. What all did you bring for our herb garden?
I have brought a couple of kinds of mint, actually 3 kinds of mint, 2 kinds of, let me remind myself, 2 kinds of sage, and we've got some mosquito plants for later that you're going to plant off to the side, 2 kinds of rosemary, upright and trailing, and mostly we kind of went with the mints this time. That's kind of what was available.
And I love mint. I love making mint tea.
She talked about tea, so I think we've got it going.
And you got some ornamental flowers as well.
Yes, I decided to go with this one. Now this is going to get really tall, okay? It's called blue and white, and it's in a salvia. Now the reason I chose this flower, and later you're going to plant these, is that they are low on watering. You have to remember that with your herbs. So we're not putting a weed mat in this time. We're not adding peat moss because we can't hold that much water. We have to have a really good drying out time. So
and now that's really interesting to know. A big difference between a vegetable garden and an herb garden is that herbs want to be drier.
Yes, definitely. They'll basically rot out if you keep them too wet. You almost get them, like the expression, bone dry. Yeah.
Okay.
Before you water, so
okay.
Easier to take care of.
Yeah, well, I've gotten used to watering.
I know.
Right? I mean, I have been having fun in my garden.
Oh, and look, your new gloves.
You gave me new gloves.
Look at it, matches your dress. How did we do that?
I don't know. Queen of Green coming down. Queen of Green. All right, you guys, on the other side of the break, I'm going to put on these gloves, and we're going to get started building this herb garden.
Herb garden.
Herb garden.
Okay.
Here we go. Stay
so
with
do
us.
we have somebody that's going to tote this stuff and put it in the...
Sure, me?
You?
Just kidding. My son, he's gonna come help. What's your favorite herb?
Basil, because, well, it's good in everything. And it's good with just tomato and mozzarella.
Oregano, yeah. I put everything. I put to the chicken, I put the pasta, I do anything. I can cook. That means I use oregano a lot. Yeah.
I would say mint because I really like mint and like good breath.
My favorite herb that we eat, no, we're smoking.
Eating.
Oh, eating?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not much of a herb person. That you eat anyway.
It's your day here at Michael Vincent Salon. Whether you come in for a cut and color or a manicure and massage, we want you to feel relaxed. We are trendy, light, friendly, and downtown. Our clients become our friends. Come as you are, leave as a star. Michael Vincent Salon, Highway 49, downtown Gulfport.
Welcome back, y'all. If you're just now joining us, we are building an herb garden right here in my front yard with the one and only, the master gardener, Karen Ball from Fazzios Home and Farm Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Right before the break, she was telling us some things that we needed to know to differentiate between an herb garden and a vegetable garden, and that was what?
We are not putting a weed mat in here to retain moisture longer, and we are not using peat moss because we need better drainage.
Because herbs like to be dry.
They like to be on the dry side.
Okay,
Or they will rot.
and we don't want that.
No.
Because I want my herb teas.
That's right.
So what are we starting with the soil? Tell us a little bit about what soils you did bring and how we're going to mix them.
Well, we're repeating on the soil conditioner. There again, it's got the mycorrhiza, it's got, you know, a couple kinds of fertilizer, bat guano, earthworm castings. Does not, in the larger bag, does not have peat moss. So this was a good choice. Also, I chose it because of volume, because we want to basically get some volume in here. And then after we put this layered on, we're going to water as we layer it in. Then we're going to go to something called Ocean Forest. And Ocean Forest doesn't have any mycorrhiza, but it's just an ocean feast of crab and shrimp and etc.
My herbs are going to be eaten out of the ocean.
That's right.
And so we're going to layer those a few times?
Yes.
Water in between the layers and then put our herbs in.
Correct.
What I love about this is I love the fact that we are spending so much time on preparation. Preparation is so important. And I think a lot of times if you're starting gardening, it's probably tempting to just hurry up and buy plants and stick it in, and then you wonder why it's not going very well. Doing this, I feel like I'm following every rule to do it right so that the garden itself will just take off. Okay, I think we are done with the soil. What's
we
next?
are. Looks good. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You did good.
Thank you. You did good.
You're vicious with that rice knife when opening those bags, by the way.
Don't make me mad.
Oh, no, no. No, you did good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
What's next?
We're going to spot the plants.
Okay.
Now I'm just going to start pulling these out, and then we'll take a look at where you want them
Okay.
to go. This is pineapple.
Pineapple. Does it taste like pineapple?
I'm uncertain. I just tried it a few years ago, and I don't recall. That is chocolate. So you don't need chocolate, right? One of these is chocolate already?
Chocolate. Oh my God, that's like my favorite flavor is chocolate mint.
I know. All right.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have pineapple. I'm gonna put pineapple here.
Okay.
And then I have chocolate.
Okay.
And then I have orange.
Okay.
And then I have peppermint.
Okay.
And then I have mojito.
Well,
mint.
mojito.
So I got all 5. You know, I've never really cooked with sage.
You know, the only time I know about sage is when I was a kid growing up. My mother, this is the Midwest, she would put sage in her dressing. That's how, we didn't have cornbread dressing. She made it with Dale breadcrumbs, and it always had sage in it. And that's all I ever think of sage is like in dressing. I don't know.
So I need it for Thanksgiving.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, oregano. Of course.
Oregano.
Duh.
There we go.
Okay, so let's do oregano, and that's sage, right? And then this is 2 rosemaries. We have a trailing one, and then an upright. So trailing will go over here. I love this variety. So now
Okay.
we got to do the hard part, which is actually putting it in the soil.
That's true.
Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We ready to plant. All right, so
All right.
when we did the veggies, you said don't bury the crown. Is it the same thing
Correct.
for
Yeah,
herbs?
correct on this. So when you think about digging the hole on it, okay, So you know you're going to compact a little bit, but I'm just going to use this because it's going to be easier for me. So you got to think about setting this up and making sure that this does not sink. So you want to compact the soil around it and make sure that, you know, it's firm, because otherwise when you go to water, it's going to sink on you, and you don't want that to happen. It'll rot out. So sort of like that.
Good hole. Stick it in there.
Now also look at your plant.
Oh.
And you have some, so you want to break that up a little bit.
Okay. Not too much though.
No.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of like this.
Right.
And then just go around it.
Yeah, keep it. Yeah,
But don't bury.
Don't bury too deep, because you want this to stay above the soil. Okay, we're dealing with herbs and they can't be planted too deep or they'll just rot out.
All right, well then we're going to get going and get all of these planted. Oh, my little sage, you're going to come in handy come Thanksgiving. I think this is my favorite.
Is it?
I think this is my favorite. It is so cute. It's just cute. And it does smell good,
doesn't it?
Oh,
It does.
everyone should have an herb garden. Everyone. Okay. On this note, speaking of learning curve, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get Karen over on the other garden, the one that we built 2 months ago, and we're going to check out how that went. I know you've been waiting for this because everyone's been asking me, how's your garden, Jamie? So stay with us.
Look like $1 million without spending it. Here at Back on the Rack, we sell only the brands that you trust. Jade, Carly, Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, Tibby, Kate Spade, Louis Vuitton, and more. Back on the Rack, upscale resale. We buy and sell across the U.S., and you can shop right on Facebook. It's luxury consignment for the stylish woman.
Karen, we had so much squash. We had squash zucchini, squash casserole, squash spaghetti. Are we rolling? Oh gosh. Welcome back, y'all. Let me tell you, we are now revealing this garden for the first time after what, 2 months?
2 months.
We planted this 2 months ago.
Right.
How does it look?
It looks fabulous. A little bare because we had a storm, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about what great things have happened from this garden.
Okay.
I think the soil was the most important thing that happened, because within 4 weeks of planting, I had squash this big. Like I said, we were eating squash gumbo, squash sandwiches, squash etouffee. I was like Bubba Gump. My kids were like, no more squash, Mom. Just kidding though. But we had tons of squash. Yeah. But she did want to talk about the issues we had.
Oh, yes.
We had a couple issues, folks. Would you like to go on with the issues, or
well,
should I?
You should.
No, I think you should.
No, you should.
Okay. So Karen just mentioned, one of the issues we did have with the garden was the tropical storm that came through. Cristobal. It knocked my stuff square over. I had to, I don't know if you can show this over here, Lee, but I had to strip my tomato plants down completely because they were laying on top of my okra. They were like vertical.
Oh, wow.
Another issue we were having was I was getting a lot of bugs. Like I started getting caterpillars on the tomatoes and these little spider bugs on my zucchini. What's up with that, and what can I do to prevent that?
So, well, we had the spinosad. It'll do beetles, thrip, obviously the worms, fire. It's got fire ants and thrip.
Oh, wow.
And all of which can be devastating. We mostly got hit with the worms.
Yes.
And then I think because when we planted them and they were cutesy little plants, they were real close together, well, then we didn't, maybe not enough air circulation, so jammed in. I think the caterpillar went from one to one
yes.
to one.
I think that's a big problem I was having, is I couldn't even get in to spray the pesticide stuff. And again, this is organic pesticide, but I was still trying to spray it just to prevent it, because you don't know how devastating it is to spend all this time and energy on a garden, and then all of a sudden this little worm is putting holes in your fruit.
Yes.
So that was the other issue we had. But
Right.
other than that, it's been great. We have been eating out of this garden.
You have had, really, even with that, you've had a tremendous amount of tomatoes.
Yes.
And your peppers.
Oh my God, look at my little peppers.
Your peppers have done fabulous
I've got
as well.
all these little peppers. They're so beautiful. I'm gonna have to figure out how to eat and how to like banana peppers. We've also got great okra over there that is growing nice and super tall. And look, I've even got bell peppers that are growing.
Right.
They're a little too small just yet, but I have bell peppers that are growing. And then look, my cucumbers, man.
Oh, wow, look at the cucumbers.
Cucumbers.
Are you ready?
Girl, I am ready to cut some cucumbers off of this vine.
Go for it.
I've had so much luck with the cucumbers as well.
Oh, cucumbers are delicious. Oh, you've got another one right there in the baby stages.
I know,
See it?
look at
that
my little
baby.
cucumbers. Okay, so I just picked a couple of cucumbers and I have a little surprise coming for you because you know what? The best part of having a garden is eating out of the garden. So you stay right here. Actually, I'll meet you on the steps. You stay right there. We'll be right back. I'm going to turn this into something yummy. All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Fresh cucumbers from my garden with my mom's old recipe.
Wow.
Vinegar, salt, pepper, a little bit of onion powder.
Fabulous. And they're so crispy.
I just picked them. This is great. And look, you're using my great-grandmother's silver.
Wow.
We can't get more southern than this now, can we, y'all? You're from California, aren't you?
I am.
What made you get to Mississippi?
Well, I was born in Nebraska, went to California. Actually, I'm sorry, reverse. Born in California, went back to Nebraska, and then later on in life, I went back to California. I was there for 28 years. So actually, although I say people say, where are you from? I say Nebraska, because that's where I was raised. It's my mom's family. But I actually was born in California. So, but with everything that's going on right now, I'm really glad to be in Mississippi. Love it. 40 acres of land out in the woods. Love it.
Mississippi's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
I love it here.
It really is.
And I'm loving my cucumbers. Honey, thank you so much for helping me get both the vegetable and the herb garden going. I've been wanting to do this like forever, and I really needed somebody who could have their expertise to help me. And I just really appreciate you. Y'all, she has been awesome. Like she calls me, and she's like, she asks every question, and you've just been so diligent. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So cheers. Cheers to cucumbers.
Ah.
Were these burpless ones?
I don't know.
Stay tuned for more Miss Congeniality.
And he said, you know, Robbins, he said, when we grew up, we was poor, wasn't we? I said, we was, but we didn't know it, because everybody was the same shape. Back then, people grew what they ate. If you didn't grow it, you didn't eat it. Mother and Dad went to the grocery store, they bought flour, sugar, coffee, salt, and pepper. That's all they bought. If you didn't grow what you ate, you went hungry. But I come up on a farm. We had about well, my dad owned 80 acres. My uncle right up the road had 80. And we row cropped about 60 acres a year with mules, me and Daddy. My brother, till he slipped off and joined the Air Force, he got tired of farming. He slipped off and left us to have it, you know, but it's when I was a kid, I had a great life. Wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Let's talk about something that women don't want to talk about, and that is incontinence. We at the Women's Clinic have a simple procedure that we can do to take care of that. We use the Photona laser. It's a simple procedure. You have tightening, you have enhanced lubrication. Sex isn't painful anymore, and you don't have that leakage that you deal with on a daily basis. Come see us at the Women's Clinic in Gulfport. We're right by Gulfport Memorial Hospital.
Hey y'all, and welcome back. I am so excited about this segment. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I love composting, even though I have to admit I have totally sucked at it before, but not anymore. Why? Because I have the veggie doctor here. This is Christine Coker, right?
Yes.
With the Mississippi State Extension Service. She's a horticulturist. Don't mispronounce that one. But you go by veggie doctor,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So you know everything about composting.
I know a lot. Let's get to it.
Okay. All right. So starting first, where do you put a compost bin?
Okay, so there's 3 things to keep in mind. 1, you don't want it in full sun because you don't really need to cook your compost. 2, you want to have it close to your back door or wherever it is you bring out your kitchen scraps. And 3, you don't want to set it on top of shallow tree roots like a live oak because those tree roots are really going to be drawn to the rich compost that you're putting there.
All right. And based on what she just said, she has chosen this location for my new and improved compost bin. Now, Christine, I have to tell you, the truth of the matter is that the first time I tried to compost, I literally just stuck all of my scraps and stuff in a pile. And my husband was like, Jamie, that's ridiculous.
It's totally okay to do it that way.
It is?
You don't have to have a fancy compost bin. You can totally do what I call compost in place.
Like rot in place.
But if you have a compost bin and you have a place for it, they are really great tools.
Okay. And basically then, how does this work? How do you start with composting?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your setup, because this is a really common type of compost bin. So you've got a hinged top, so kind of like your trash can. And you're going to see you've got lots and lots of air holes, and you've even got holes in the top. And this is because you need plenty of aeration for your compost. It needs plenty of oxygen, but your compost also needs to stay moist, so this will allow rainwater to also get through.
So the air and moisture helps it all break down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the last little feature here is this little door at the bottom. So basically, as you're building your compost up, your finished product is going to be the bottom layer, and this way you can take off your little hatch, get a shovel, and get your finished product.
That's the exciting part. That's the whole reason that I want to compost, is that I can basically reuse all the scraps and stuff around the yard and the kitchen, and that is the finished product. How long does it take to get to that?
So there's a lot of factors that go into it, such as temperature, moisture, also the ingredients that you're putting into your compost. So it can take several months before you get a finished product. So this is not for the hasty.
You got to be patient.
You've got to have some patience.
Well, a veggie doctor should know that, because it takes time.
It takes time.
All right. What do we need to put in that?
Okay, so you need a good balance of greens and browns.
Greens and browns. Do I have some greens and browns
you
around here?
You do have greens and browns, and I see you've been doing some tropical storm cleanup.
Yes, we did. This is our little, is it Cristobal?
Little Cristobal pile here. So greens and browns. So green leaves are obviously a green. However, if you were raking up the dry leaves out of your yard,
like some of those over there,
those are a brown. It's pretty easy to keep straight. Green, brown. You want to keep sticks out, because this would absolutely take forever to break down.
So no sticks.
So I would not put sticks in. This
is what I clipped out of the yard.
Is gold.
Is it really?
This is gold. So this is all green material, obviously, because it's fresh material. This will be our first layer of our lasagna approach.
Lasagna. This is some yummy lasagna. Just like that.
Nice.
Okay. And then we want to put something else on top.
So now I'd like to put a layer of like some dried leaves. So we've got a green layer, so let's put a brown layer. Oh, look.
Oh,
that
yummy.
Is gorgeous. Oh. So basically what we're seeing here is where these leaves have already started to compost. That's what's happening here.
So this is good stuff too.
This is platinum. That's gold.
Okay, but there's sticks in here.
Little sticks are fine. You just don't want big sticks.
All right. Oh, she's making me work. All right. Layer in the lasagna.
Layer in the lasagna.
That looks good. That looks really good.
So at this point, you can add a little bit of your garden soil, your lawn soil. We did that when we raked up the leaves, because we picked some of that up with it. What that does is provides the microorganisms that are going to break down all this material into beautiful compost.
So you do want to add, as part of your brown, some soil, a little dirt or something. What about my kitchen scraps?
Kitchen scraps are amazing, and they're your bread and butter.
Look at my little pail.
So it seems like a little bit of overkill to have these really decorative compost bins. However, would you want something ugly sitting on your kitchen counter?
Exactly. That's why I think I spent way too much money on this, but it's so cute, and I love having it right there in my kitchen.
Right.
And it's got like a filter.
Yes. So if it looks good, you'll keep it in the kitchen and you'll use it. And that filter is what's going to keep it from making a stinky kitchen.
Ooh, okay. It's ready to go.
It's ready to go.
All right. Now, is there any specific type of food I should not put in for the scraps?
So you do not want to put oil, grease, vegetable oil, or meat.
No meat, no grease, no oils.
Because
anything else?
basically that will make this a buffet for raccoons and possums and neighborhood dogs. But the fact is, if you take care of your compost, you should never have that nasty smell. If you do get a bad smell, something is off and you need to tweak it.
Gotcha. So layer lasagna, green, brown, put soil in there sometimes, food scraps, no meat, no oil, no grease. You can use paper too.
And you can even use little compostable waste bags to bring from your kitchen straight to your compost. Whole bag goes in. My gift to you.
Aw, thank you so much. Christine, you are so awesome. And thank you so much for teaching me all about how to use this compost. Y'all just don't understand that the Mississippi State Extension Service is a great resource for anything gardening or composting or just any questions you may have. So how can somebody reach you if they do have some questions?
The fastest way to get information is to go to extension.msstate.edu.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. On the other side of the break, we're going to do just a little bit more gardening to round out this episode. So stay with us. What is the best thing you do to protect the environment, David?
Oh, on a daily basis, we pick up trash everywhere.
Really?
Yep.
Like where?
Like in the water, in the marina, anywhere.
I've got a car that gets good gas mileage.
That's a good thing. That's great.
Yeah.
Recycle, that'd be about it. Yeah, we recycle, cans, plastic. That's about it.
Try to avoid plastics, so recycle, and I try to reuse everything that I possibly can. So, yeah. And I have a Prius that my sister makes fun of me for, but I think it's funny.
This is Lantana, and Karen called this the mosquito plant, but I think you call it citronella. It smells really good, and she said if you plant this on your porch or anywhere in your yard, it keeps mosquitoes away. So I'm about to put this over here on my porch. I want to say a special shout out thank you to Fazzios Home and Farm in Gulfport, Mississippi. They have been the sponsor of this show and they've donated all these wonderful plants. I love plants. Did you know that about me yet? I love plants. I am the queen of green, and I hope you've enjoyed these episodes on gardening. I know I certainly have, and I hope to do much, much more. Well, on that note, I think we're out of time. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with my thing I always say, to love yourself, be yourself, and let's make this world a more beautiful place. Until next time, I am MS Congeniality.